Hey everybody, I'm Joey and today we're gonna make smoked pulled lamb shoulder. So good. So follow me and let's turn up the tasty. Today we're gonna smoke this lamb shoulder right here. It weighs in at just under 3 pounds and it comes to us from our friends at Porter Road. We've included a link in the description below if you want to check them out for yourself. They have some really high quality meats and I'm really excited to cook this. Why? Because I've never smoked a lamb shoulder before. If you've been following along our food journey on this channel, you know I'm not a meat expert. I'm just a guy with a lot of questions about how to cook and prepare tasty meats, and I want to bring you guys along for the ride, and that's just what we're doing today. So how do you cook a lamb shoulder? How do you smoke it? Well, I'm gonna treat this just like I would with a pork butt. And to begin, I'm going to go ahead and coat it with a little bit of mustard. Now, if you don't like mustard, then don't use mustard. Why am I using mustard? Because I think it helps act as a nice binder for the seasoning we're going to apply. I've noticed no taste difference when I use this as a binder, but if it's not your thing, if you're against yellow condiments, then don't use it. You can always substitute it for olive oil or use nothing at all. All right, I got mustard all over this, so what am I gonna season it with? My friends at the Spice House sent me this barbecue collection of different spices, and in it they have one for a Kansas City barbecue rub. I'm gonna go ahead and use this because it sounds like something I might use on a pork butt. A, B, I'm here in St. Louis, so Kansas City is like our neighbor, but it also says specifically on the label to go ahead and utilize this for lamb, so that's what we're going to do. And go ahead and season it liberally. And we're gonna eat all sides of this thing, so we truly wanna season all sides of this thing. You know, while I'm seasoning this, I just wanna mention lamb is very popular in other parts of the world. The first time I had lamb was while I was traveling Greece and Europe. I know, bougie, but I was fortunate enough to be able to get that opportunity, and that's really where I fell in love with this protein. It's just not commonly found on store shelves here in the US. As a matter of fact, Americans only eat about 1 pound of lamb per year. I know some guys who eat a pound of beef for lunch. Look, this channel is called Red Meat Lover, and lamb is red meat. If you're living in the US and you haven't had the opportunity to try this, live a little, people. Go out, buy some, try something new. You might just like it. Now I'm looking forward to smoking this. Actually, I'm using the Weber kettle because it is a relatively small cut, so follow me and I'll show you the setup. All right, so here we are with the trusty old Weber kettle. This has to be one of my favorite grills. I don't use it a lot for smoking anymore because I have a lot of other tools, and it is difficult to regulate the temperature. You're going to get some swings on that temperature, especially on a windy day like today. So you're gonna need a couple tools if you're gonna smoke on this Weber. The first thing I have is a thermometer, which will tell me the internal temperature of this grill. Right now, I was just getting it fired up, so it's running hot. It's at 361. It's gonna settle into a position of about 225, 250 within a few minutes of me throwing this on the grill. Inside here, we have a 2-zone setup. We got our heat, and today we're smoking with pecan wood. I'm really excited about that. I do a lot of smoking with fruit woods because of the kids and people who don't like spicier, smokier meat, but I'm really looking forward to using this pecan wood today. Over here, I have a drip pan to provide an easier cleanup on this Weber. That will allow a lot of the fat renderings just to drip right in there. So now we're gonna take our lamb shoulder, drop it down here right over the drip pan. I'm gonna go fat cap up. I know it's a big debate, fat cap up, fat cap down. I don't know that it really matters a lot from the barbecue pit masters I speak with, but I like to go fat cap up, maybe more than anything, just out of habit. We're gonna let that run to an internal temperature of 195 degrees to 205 degrees on the lamb until it's nice and fall apart tender, and I cannot wait to try this out. All right, so we're about an hour into this cook. This pit is running at 250 degrees, having some brews, we're listening to music, and I just wanted to share, look, when you're out here grilling, when you're out here smoking, there truly are no bad days. Take a look at the back. This is my spirit shirt. It's exactly how I feel when I'm outside, and I just want to take a moment and thank my friends at INTOTHEAM for sending me this awesome gear. If you want to check it out for yourself, we've included a link in the description below. This lamb shoulder has been smoking out for about an hour and a half. We've seen some temperature fluctuations as I expected. It rode real even at 250 for about the first hour. We saw it dip down as low as 200, creep up a little closer to the threes. Right now we're sitting back at 250 again. Let's see how it looks. Take a look at that. We're seeing the early formation of some bark. Some of that fat cap is starting to split open. You know, as I'm looking at this now, maybe I should have scored that fat cap. Oh well, I don't know how big of a difference it's gonna make at the end. I think, you know, in hindsight, yeah, that's something I definitely should have done. Maybe just got a little too excited to smoke the lamb shoulder. But with that said, we're gonna let it finish up here. Don't know how long it's gonna take, but I got some cold beer to keep me company while I wait. All right, so we smoked this lamb shoulder for about 4 hours. The majority of that time was about 250 to 300 degrees, depending on how it was fluctuating. At the end, we ran it to 350 for the last hour. Now take a look at this. This shoulder blade right here is like an internal thermometer. That lets you know, basically, that the lamb is done. Very similar to a pork shoulder. It's been resting now for about 30 minutes, and as you can see, look, this stuff is just pulling right apart over here. Look at that. Go all the way through, got some nice fat cap up there. All right, so I have this lamb shoulder fully shredded. I had this little piece right here, this tough, sinewy piece that I have not seen before in pork that just, there's a little bit of fat, a little bit of meat on there. I don't know. This is definitely a fattier cut of meat on the inside than I expected it to be. I mean, I know pork is fatty as well. A lot of that resides around the fat cap. There's a lot of interior fat on this. It has a good color, has a really nice bark on it. And now let's see how it tastes. You know, a lot of people say that lamb is kind of gamey, and that's just not true with this. This definitely has a different flavor than pork, that's for sure. But it's milder. It's like almost a little bit sweeter. I wouldn't say anything gamey about this. It's really damn good, plain and simple. That rub I thought would be really sweet. I was wondering when I put that on, did I make the right choice? Is this gonna be too sweet for the protein? And it's really not. Gives it a nice mild flavor in that pecan wood, along with those spices, give it a really nice bark. Now I will say, I'm all about authenticity with you guys. I really try to share where we have done well and where we could do better. I think if I were gonna do this again, I would do one thing, and that's score the fat cap, right? So we're gonna get a little bit more bark on it. That's what I would have done for sure. The other thing that I would have done is I probably would have gone to the old Texas crutch. I would have wrapped this thing and probably should have wrapped it at about 165 until it hit that internal temperature of 195 to 205. I think it just would have sped up the process. Look, there's so much fat in here. It's not like it's gonna dry out. That's not the concern. It just really started to slow down at the end because of that stall. I guess I really didn't expect how long the stall would be on this piece of meat. And that's because of all that interior fat that's melting and cooling the meat as it cooks. Now we know that's true with brisket and pork, and I guess I should have expected it here, and I did to an extent. I just didn't expect it to last so long, but those are the breaks. Look, how do you guys do lamb at home? How would you do this? What would you have done differently? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you soon.